Anna sat on the cold stone bench outside the theater. Her dress was soaked through, clinging to her skin as heavy drops of rain fell from the dark sky. People walked past her, shielding themselves under umbrellas, rushing to their warm cars and dry homes. No one noticed the girl with trembling hands, mascara running down her cheeks. Heart aching so loud it seemed to echo in the storm. She had just come from the biggest audition of her life. It was for a small role in a major Hollywood film. She had spent months preparing, practicing in front of mirrors, whispering lines under her breath during bus rides, skipping meals to afford acting lessons. She believed this was her chance, maybe her only chance. But inside that grand audition hall, everything fell apart. Her nerves betrayed her. Her voice cracked. Her hands shook. The casting director barely looked at her. When she stumbled on a line, he didn't ask her to start over, just said, "Thank you. Next." She left the room in silence. No one followed. No one cared. She walked through the crowded lobby like a ghost, her dreams crumbling with every step. Once outside, the clouds opened up and the rain came down like it had been waiting for her sadness. Now, she sat with her hands clasped tight in her lap, rainwater dripping from her elbows, wondering if this city had ever been kind to anyone like her. She had no connections, no famous last name, no money, just a dream and. Now even that felt foolish. In the distance, a black car rolled to a stop near the curb. She didn't pay attention. The world was blurry, both from tears and the downpour. But then a voice called out, soft and curious. "Are you okay?" She looked up. Standing there, holding an umbrella, was Keanu Reeves. At first she thought it was a trick of the rain, a shadow, or someone who looked like him. But then he stepped closer and there was no doubt. The humble smile, the calm eyes, the kindness that made her want to cry even more. "You're shaking," he said gently. "Do you need help?" Anna opened her mouth, but no words came. She was too embarrassed. What could she say? That she was a nobody who just failed an audition and now sat crying in the street like a lost child? Keanu didn't wait for her to answer. He slipped off his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. It was warm, soft. It smelled faintly of cologne, and something comforting, like cedar wood. "Let's get you out of the rain," he said. Anna followed him without a word. Her legs felt weak, but his calm presence was enough to keep her moving. He opened the car door and helped her inside. The driver glanced back, surprised, but Keanu just nodded. They sat in silence for a while. She didn't know where they were. Going, maybe he didn't either. Maybe it didn't matter. Finally, he spoke again. "You were at the audition, right? I saw you from the hallway." Her eyes widened. You saw me?" He nodded. "I was meeting the director. I saw you walking out. You looked heartbroken." She looked away, ashamed. "I messed it up." Keanu leaned forward, his voice low but full of strength. "Everyone messes up. That doesn't mean you're not good." Anna shook her head. "Just tired. I've been trying so long. Nothing ever works." "Do you love it?" he asked. "Acting? Performing?" She paused. "Yes, I really do." "Then that matters," he said. "Don't give up because of one bad day." Tears slipped down her cheeks again, but this time they weren't from pain. They were from the strange, warm comfort of being really seen by someone who didn't owe her anything. They reached a quiet cafe tucked away on a side street. Keanu helped her out of the car and led her inside. The staff greeted him warmly but didn't make a scene. Clearly, he came here often. They sat in a corner booth. He ordered 2 teas. Ina held the warm cup between her hands like it was her last source of light. "What's your name?" he asked Ina. She whispered. He smiled. "Nice to meet you." "Anna. I'm Keanu." She let out a soft laugh. "I know." He laughed too. "Yeah, I figured." For the next hour they talked. It's not about movies. Not about fame, but about life, about dreams and disappointments, about small joys and painful lessons. Anna felt like she could breathe again. It was like sharing a table with an old friend, even though they had just met. When the rain stopped, Keanu stood and said, "I want to show you something." Anna followed him again, still unsure why he was being so kind, but unable to say no. He took her to a quiet neighborhood nearby, where the hills curved gently and trees swayed in the breeze. Then he pointed to a house. "This was the first place I lived when I came to this city," he said. "It was small, cold, and had terrible plumbing, but it was mine. I worked as a busboy back then. No one knew my name." Anna looked at him in surprise. "Really?" He nodded. "I wasn't always who I am now, and even now I'm still learning, still trying." They stood in silence, letting the breeze carry away the past. "You're not alone, Anna," he said. "Don't let today be the end of your story. Let it be the start." As the sun broke through the clouds, she felt something shift inside her. The pain didn't disappear, but it didn't feel as heavy. Maybe because someone had helped carry it for a while. When Keanu offered to drive her home, she hesitated. "I don't really have one, not right now." He didn't ask questions. He just nodded. "Then you can stay somewhere safe tonight." Anna didn't know what that meant. But when the car pulled into a quiet driveway hours later, and Keanu handed her a small key with a gentle smile, she knew. "This place is empty," he said. "I use it sometimes when I need to get away. You're welcome to stay until you figure things out." Anna's hands shook again, but this time, not from cold. "Why are you doing this?" Keanu looked at her, eyes steady and kind. "Because someone helped me once too." And with that, he got back into the car and disappeared down the road, leaving Anna standing in front of a warm home, the rain behind her, and a new beginning ahead. She unlocked the door. Inside, everything was simple and quiet. Clean sheets, soft lights, a small note on the counter. "Keep going, Anna. You're stronger than you think." And for the first time in weeks, she smiled. Anna woke up in a warm bed. Sunlight streamed through the window, painting soft golden lines across the walls. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered the rain, the rejection, and Keanu Reeves offering her shelter when she had nowhere else to go. She sat up slowly, her body still tired, but her heart lighter than it had been in weeks. The quiet peace of the house felt like a dream. She walked into the small kitchen and saw the note again on the counter. "Keep going? Anna, you're stronger than you think." She touched the note gently, as if it might disappear. There was food in the fridge. Fruit, bread, milk, tea. Simple things, but more than she had expected. She made a small breakfast and sat by the window, watching the trees sway. For the first time in months, she didn't feel like running or hiding. That afternoon, a delivery arrived at the front door. A folded note sat on top of a package. It read, "I didn't want you to feel forgotten. Inside are some tools to help you start fresh. Use them however you need." Inside the box were a new phone, a prepaid card, and a small tablet. There was also a folder with names of acting coaches, open auditions, and even therapists' resources. Most struggling actors never got access to. Anna sat on the couch holding the folder close. She couldn't understand why someone like Keanu Reeves would do all this for her. They barely knew each other. She hadn't earned it. But maybe that was the point. His kindness wasn't a reward. It was a reminder that she mattered. That even broken people still deserved chances. Over the next week, Anna stayed in the house. She spent her mornings writing in a journal she found in a drawer. She wrote about her past, her hopes, her fears. It felt like pulling thorns from her heart. It hurt, but it helped her breathe again. She practiced monologues in front of the mirror. At first her voice shook, but slowly the strength returned. The passion came back. She remembered why she loved acting, not for fame, not for applause, but because it made her feel alive. One morning, she found another note tucked under the door. "There's a small theater downtown. Open mic night. Go there. Don't worry about the crowd. Just feel the words." Kana didn't know if she was ready. Her hands trembled as she held the note. But something deep inside her whispered, "You can do this." That night she stood behind the curtain at the old theater. Her name was about to be called. The room was full of strangers. Her knees felt weak. Her breath came in short gasps. Then she closed her eyes and pictured the rain, the bench, Keanu's jacket, his quiet voice, saying, "Don't let today be the end of your story." She stepped onto the stage. The spotlight was blinding. She stood still for a moment, letting her eyes adjust. The silence in the room was heavy, and then she began. Her voice wavered at first, but with each word, it grew stronger. She poured everything into the piece, her pain, her hope, her fire. When she finished, the room was silent again. But this time in awe. Then someone clapped. Then another soon. The entire room was cheering. Tears filled her eyes. Not because of the applause, but because she had finally let herself be seen after the show. A woman approached her. "Your performance, it felt so real. Like you were telling my story too." Anna smiled. "Maybe I was." That night, she walked back to the house under a clear sky. The stars blinked above like silent blessings. On the porch was a small wrapped box with another note. "You shine tonight. Keep going. I believe in you." Inside the box was a charm necklace shaped like a tiny open book. Engraved on the back were 3 simple words. "Start your story, Anna." Wore it every day after that. Days turned into weeks. Anna began taking acting classes using the contacts Keanu had left. She worked at a local cafe during the day and rehearsed at night. She met other dreamers, some who had failed, some who had succeeded, but all who understood the struggle. She didn't tell many people about the man who had helped her. Some wouldn't believe it. Others would think she was making it up. But she knew the truth. One day as she was leaving her class, her coach stopped her. "Someone asked me about you." He said, "They want to meet a producer. She saw a video of your performance online." Anna froze. "A video?" He nodded. "Someone recorded your open mic night. It's been shared thousands of times." Anna's heart pounded. "What did she say?" "She said your pain had power, that your truth broke through the screen. She wants to offer you a part. It's not huge, but it's real." Anna covered her mouth in shock. "Is this real?" The coach smiled. "Yes, and I think it's only the beginning." Anna walked home in silence, the weight of the moment settling in her chest. When she reached the house, she didn't find a note this time, but she didn't need one. She sat on the couch holding the necklace in her hand. She thought about how far she'd come, from the rain to the stage, from silence to strength, and deep down, she knew was coming. What she didn't know yet was that the next time she saw Keanu, the world would be watching. The morning light spilled across Anna's face as she sat by the window, sipping tea. Her phone buzzed gently beside her. The message was short but electric. "Meeting confirmed. 2 p.m. Address below. You got this." Susan was the producer. The one who had seen Anna's video from that open mic night. The one who saw not just talent but truth. Anna felt her hands begin to sweat. This wasn't just another audition. This was a real opportunity. For the first time, someone wanted her because of who she was, not who they expected her to be. She picked out a simple dress, clean lines and soft color. She brushed her hair, applied light makeup, and took a deep breath before stepping out. The ride to the studio felt like a dream. The city blurred past her, alive and loud. But for once, she didn't feel lost in it. When she arrived, a woman with silver hair and sharp eyes greeted her at the lobby. "You must be Anna." Anna nodded, her voice soft. "Yes, thank you for inviting me." "Come," Susan said. "Let's talk." They sat in a small room lined with books and film posters. No fancy decorations, just quiet confidence. Susan leaned back and studied her. "You're not what Hollywood looks for," she said, "and that's exactly why I want you." Anna blinked, unsure how to respond. "The part is small. Just a few scenes," Susan continued. "But it's raw. It's about a girl who's been broken down by the world. And when I watched your video, I saw someone who understands that." Anna swallowed hard. "I've lived it," good Susan said. "Then show us. You start next Monday." Anna's heart swelled. She didn't cry, not until she was back outside. Leaning against the wall of the building, eyes closed, smiling through her tears. That night, she returned to the small house Keanu had offered her. She found a new note taped to the mirror. I heard about the meeting. Proud of you. It's all you now. She stared at it for a long time. She hadn't seen him in weeks, but somehow he always knew exactly when to reach out. Not too much, just enough. As filming began, Anna threw herself into the role. The director, a quiet man with kind eyes, was patient and encouraging. The crew treated her like she belonged. It was a small production, but it felt massive to her. The scenes were emotional. She had to cry, to scream, to sit in silence with pain in her eyes. And because she had lived through every shade of that emotion in real life, the performance was honest. On the final day of filming, the director pulled her aside. You brought something to this that I didn't know we needed. Thank you. Anna smiled, humbled. Thank you for trusting me. But the biggest surprise came a week later. She was working her shift at the cafe. Apron tied, taking orders and wiping down tables when her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a name she didn't expect. Keanu Reeves. Her heart skipped. She stepped outside to answer. Hello. Hi, Anna. It's Keanu. His voice was calm, familiar. Hi, she said, nervous and warm all at once. How are you? I'm good, he replied. Listen, I have something to ask you. Anna leaned against the brick wall, heart racing. Okay, I'm producing a short film with a few friends. What? Meaningful. We're looking for someone to play the lead. I thought of you. Anna went silent. Her breath caught. It's not a favor, Keanu added. I saw your scenes in that indie project. You were brilliant. This would be a real job. You'd be paid, credited. Are you interested? Anna whispered. Yes. Absolutely yes, he chuckled. I'll send the script. Read it. If it speaks to you, we'll talk more. Later that night, she curled up with the script under a blanket, heart thudding. It was a beautiful story about a woman who lost her voice and found it through music and kindness. Every line felt personal. Every scene felt familiar. It was fiction, but it felt like her life. She texted him right away. I'm in. Filming started 2 weeks later. The team was small, mostly passionate creatives working together for the love of storytelling. Keanu wasn't just producing, he was acting in it too. Not the lead, but an important character who guided. The woman through her struggle. Seeing him again was strange at first. She felt nervous, like she owed him everything. But he treated her like an equal. No grand speeches, no spotlight. Just mutual respect. On set, he was quiet, but encouraging. He watched her scenes closely, always with a soft smile and a nod. Day during a break, Anna sat beside him on a bench. They looked out over the city skyline. Thank you, she said softly. For everything. He shook his head. You did this, Anna. Not me. But you believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. He looked at her for a moment, then said, The world is full of people waiting to be seen. If more of us opened our eyes, maybe more dreams would survive. Anna didn't reply. She didn't need to. The silence was full of understanding. When filming ended, the short film was quietly released online. No press, no red carpet. Just uploaded on a platform where anyone could watch. Within days, it went viral. Viewers flooded the comment section with stories of their own pain, their own healing. Many said Anna's performance made them cry. Some said it made them feel less alone. Anna read every message, heart full. She received interview requests, podcast invites. Agents began calling. Suddenly, the girl who cried in the rain became the face of something honest, something human, and the world started paying attention. One night, after finishing a radio interview, Anna sat in bed holding her necklace, the tiny open book Keanu had given her. She remembered the girl who sat on that stone bench, soaked and shaking. The girl who thought her story was over, and now, well, she was just getting started. But everything changed when she got an invitation that would take her story too. The biggest stage yet? Anna stared at the envelope on her kitchen table. It was thick, with a golden seal on the back, and her name written in careful calligraphy. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a letter. It read, "You are cordially invited to speak at the Voices of Resilience Summit in Los Angeles. Your performance in the short film Echoes of Silence touched hearts across the globe. We believe your journey can inspire thousands. Please join us on stage as our youngest keynote speaker, Dodana." Read the letter again, just to be sure. The Voices of Resilience Summit was famous. Actors, activists, survivors, people who had lived through pain and found purpose, were invited each year to share their stories. She wasn't famous. She wasn't rich. She had only just begun. But someone had seen her. Someone believed her. Voice mattered. She pressed the letter to her chest and whispered, "Thank you." Her mind raced. What would she say? How could she speak in front of so many strangers? And then she thought of that night in the rain, the rejection, the kindness, the silence that became strength. Maybe that was her story. The next week passed in a blur. She worked at the cafe during the day and practiced her speech at night. She rewrote it 10 times. Each version felt too polished, too perfect. It didn't sound like her. So one night she threw the papers away and started again. This time, she wrote with honesty. About failure. About loneliness. About finding light in unexpected places. She didn't try to sound impressive. She just told the truth. The day of the summit arrived. The auditorium was huge, filled with people from every walk of life. She stood backstage, nerves bubbling in her stomach. Keanu arrived just before her name was called. He wore a simple black jacket and a soft smile. "You ready?" he asked. "No," she said honestly, "but I'm going anyway." He nodded. That's what courage looks like. When her name was announced, she stepped onto the stage. The lights were bright. Audience waited, silent and expectant. She stood there holding the microphone, her heart pounding. And then she began. "A few months ago," she said, "I was crying in the rain. I had just failed an audition. I felt invisible, hopeless. I sat alone thinking I wasn't good enough, that maybe I should give up." The room was still, and then someone saw me. He didn't know me, didn't owe me anything, but he saw me. And that changed everything. She paused. Sometimes we think we need big moments to change our lives. But for me, it was one person, one act of kindness, one simple belief that I mattered. As she spoke, she saw people nodding, some wiping away tears. You don't need to be rich or famous or perfect. You just need to keep going, even when no one claps, even when you're soaked and broken. Keep going. By the time she finished, the audience was on their feet. After the summit, people surrounded her. Survivors, students, actors, parents, they all wanted to thank her. To share their own stories, a well-known director approached her. "Your story has heart. I want to work with you." A woman from a global foundation handed her a card. "We'd love for you to speak at our event in New York." It was overwhelming, beautiful, unreal. Later, in a quiet hallway, she found Keanu waiting. "You were amazing," we said simply. Anna smiled. "I was terrified." "Good," he replied. "That means it mattered." 8. They walked side by side through the quiet back exit of the auditorium. "You know," he said, "when I first met you, I saw someone who hadn't given up, even when it looked like she had." Anna looked at him. "I didn't give up. I just didn't know what to do next, and now." She took a deep breath. "Now, I want to help others feel seen, in the way you helped me." He nodded. "Then you're ready." Anna didn't ask what he meant, but something told her this was just the beginning. A few weeks later, the short film won an international award. Not for best effects or best budget, but for emotional impact. Anna accepted the award on behalf of the team. She stood on another stage under brighter lights and gave another short speech. "This story wasn't just fiction," she said. "It was real. If it touched you, that means your story matters too." Offers began to pour in, interviews, scripts, documentaries. But Anna stayed grounded. She still worked part-time at the cafe, still returned every evening to the quiet house Keanu had once offered her. It reminded her of where she came from one morning as she was preparing to leave for an audition. She received a call. It was from Keanu. I've been offered a role in a big project, he said. A film that could reach millions. And the director's looking for someone with real depth. Someone who's lived. I showed him your performance. He wants to meet you. Anna's voice cracked. What kind of film? A drama about second chances, about healing. Anna was silent for a moment. You think I can do it? I know you can. Her audition was scheduled 3 days later. When she walked into the studio, the director stood up and smiled. I've seen your work, he said. But I want to see you. No performance. Just truth. So she sat across from him and told her story about rejection, about the rain, about a stranger who offered her hope. The director nodded slowly. You don't have to act. You already are. The character. And just like that, she was cast in her first major role, a role that would change her life forever and bring her face to face with a past she thought she had left behind. Anna stood on the soundstage, staring at the massive set around her. Lights hung like stars from above, cables snaked across the floor, and dozens of people moved with quiet urgency, wore simple clothes, the same kind her character wore. A woman trying to rebuild after being abandoned by everyone she trusted. Keanu walked onto set minutes later, nodding calmly at the crew. When his eyes met Anna's, he smiled, warm and proud. You ready? He asked. Anna exhaled. As ready as I'll ever be. The first scene was hard. Her character had to break down in front of a crowd, not with screaming, but with stillness, silent pain, the kind that builds inside and has nowhere to go. The director called. Action, and the room went quiet. Anna didn't think. She didn't act. She remembered the night outside the theater, the cold rain, the sharp voice of rejection, the feeling of being invisible. And then she let it all rise. When the scene ended, no one spoke for a moment. The director whispered, "Cut." A few crew members wiped their eyes. Anna stood there, unsure what had just happened. Keanu stepped beside her. You brought truth into the room, he said. People feel that. The days turned into weeks. Filming continued. Anna's role grew deeper. She found strength in every line, not because she was pretending, but because she had lived every emotion her character faced. On breaks, she and Keanu would sit outside under the trees, drinking tea or reading quietly. They didn't always talk. Sometimes silence said more. One afternoon, after a long scene, Keanu handed her a small envelope. Open it later, he said. When you're alone, that night she sat in her room and gently opened the flap. Inside was a short letter, handwritten. In his soft, steady script, Anna, what you're doing now, it's not luck. It's not chance. It's the result of every moment you kept going, even when the world told you to stop. This film, it's not just a project. It's a message, a mirror. And you're the heart of it. Kana held the note to her chest, tears rising again, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming feeling of being believed in, as filming neared its end. Word began to spread. Rumors filled the entertainment world. Who is the newcomer starring alongside Keanu Reeves? An unknown actress brings raw power to upcoming drama, blogs speculated. Fans searched her name. Interview requests came daily. But Anna stayed quiet. Not out of fear, but out of focus. This wasn't about fame. It was about honoring the story. On the last day of filming, the director gathered the cast and crew for a small wrap celebration. There was laughter, food, and flowers. When it was time for speeches, the director raised his glass. I've worked in this business for 30 years, he said. I've rarely seen someone enter with such honesty and humility. Anna didn't. Just act. She opened her soul. And because of that, this film will live in hearts. Everyone clapped. Anna's hands shook as she stepped forward. Thank you for trusting me. For letting me tell this story. For believing in a girl who once cried in the rain and thought no one would ever notice. Keanu smiled from the side. Nodding after the event, he walked her to her car. So, he asked gently, how does it feel? Unreal, she whispered, but also right. He nodded. It is right. A few weeks later, the film premiered at a private screening in Los Angeles. The room was filled with critics, celebrities, and industry veterans. Anna wore a simple Black dress, no diamonds, no glamour. Just grace. As the lights dimmed and the film began, she held her breath. The story unfolded on the screen. Pain, recovery, love, and silence. The room was still the entire time. Some moments made people cry. Others made them sit up in awe when the credits rolled. There was a pause, and then a standing ovation. Anna sat frozen in her seat, overwhelmed. The applause didn't stop. It grew louder, stronger. Keanu leaned in and whispered, "Stand up. This is your moment." She rose slowly, hands at her side, heart pounding. The room turned toward her, clapped for her. Afterward, dozens of people came to speak with her. Directors, actors, journalists. But the most unexpected moment came when a young girl walked up, barely 12 years old, holding a notebook. "Hi," she said softly. "I watched your movie, and I just wanted to say, it made me feel brave." Anna knelt to her level, eyes warm. "You're brave." The girl smiled. "Can you sign my notebook?" Anna did. Beside her name she wrote, "You matter. Never." Forget that. The next day her inbox was full. Agents offering deals. Producers requesting meetings. One message stood out. "We'd like to nominate Anna for Best Actress at the International Film Guild Awards." She stared at the words in disbelief. Best Actress. She never thought she'd hear those two words next to her name. But now, the world was listening, and what they were about to witness next would leave them speechless. Anna stood backstage at the International Film Guild Awards. Her name printed on the program in bold letters. Anna nominated for Best Actress. Her palms were damp. Her heart raced. She remembered the first time she stood on a stage, a tiny, open mic night, trembling, unsure if her voice even mattered. Now the world was watching. Cameras flashed outside. Reporters asked questions. Fans waited just to glimpse her, but inside she still felt like the girl who had once cried alone in the rain. She wore a simple gown, soft silver silk that shimmered under the lights. She didn't wear it to impress. She wore it to feel calm. Like moonlight wrapped around her shoulders, Keanu stood nearby, dressed in a sleek black suit. He had arrived quietly, as always. No red carpet moment. No attention-seeking. Just silent support. "You okay?" he asked. Anna nodded. "Just a little overwhelmed." He smiled. "That's normal. It means you care." The ceremony began. Lights dimmed. Music swelled. People clapped and laughed and cried through speeches. The energy in the room felt like thunder held gently in the air. Finally, the presenter stepped up for the Best Actress award. Anna could barely breathe. "The nominees are," the voice said, "for roles that touched our hearts, challenged our minds, and reminded us of what it means to feel human." As the names were read, each one echoed in her chest. Then came the final name. And Anna, for her unforgettable role in The Quiet Rising. A soft gasp moved through the room. Anna sat still, fingers laced tightly in her lap, and the winner. As the room held its breath, Anna, everything stopped. For a heartbeat she thought she had misheard. Then people began clapping, cheering, turning toward her. Keanu leaned close. "Go. This is yours." She stood on shaking legs. Applause surrounded her like a wave. As she walked to the stage, she wasn't thinking about the award. She was thinking about the bench outside the theater, the sound of the rain, the rejection, the voice that had once told her thank you. Next. She stood at the podium, heart thudding. "I wasn't supposed to be here," she said. "At least that's what I believed for a long time." The room grew still. "Months ago I failed an audition and sat outside crying in the rain. I thought my dream was over. I thought I didn't belong." She paused. But then, a stranger offered me a jacket, and that moment changed everything. Few people glanced toward Keanu in the audience. Anna smiled softly. "He didn't give me a job. Gave me something more powerful. He reminded me I still mattered. And from that moment on, I promised myself I'd keep going, no matter what." Her voice broke slightly, but she kept going. This award isn't just for me. It's for every person who feels invisible. Every person who thinks they've been forgotten. You're not. Your story still matters." The crowd rose to their feet. Applause thundered around her. After the ceremony, she walked into the quiet night air, away from the noise, away from the cameras. Keanu was waiting there, under a streetlight. "You were brilliant," he said. She smiled. "Thank you for everything." He looked at her, calm and kind. "I only opened the door. You walk through it." She reached into her bag and handed him a folded piece of paper. "What's this?" he asked. "A script," she said. "I wrote it." He opened it gently, reading the title. Crying in the Rain. Keanu looked up. "It's about a girl who thinks her dream is over," she said, "until a stranger shows her kindness." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Let's make it." Anna blinked. "You mean it?" "Yes," he said. It's time the world heard the whole story. Months later, the film began production. Crying in the Rain was not a blockbuster. It wasn't filled with explosions or big-budget scenes, but it was honest and real. It told the story of pain, of small kindness, a voice once lost, now found. When it premiered, audiences wept. It's not because it was sad, but because it was true. Anna's face was on posters now, not as a celebrity, but as a symbol of what happens when someone refuses to give up, when someone is seen, and when someone dares to believe again. Years later, a young actor stood outside that same theater, crying after her first failed audition. A stranger approached and handed her a jacket. "Keep going," he said softly. "You're stronger than you think."